Lesson 42 is titled Overall Average. Now we've been working with average for quite a while now, and you know that average is the sum of all of the numbers divided by how many numbers there are, or the number of numbers. Keep that in mind when you're doing these problems. Overall average, it's the same thing. It's the sum of all of the numbers. It's just worded a little bit differently. Let's just go look at the practice problem. And let's read that. It says the average price of the first 4 items was $40. The average price of the next 6 items was $80. What was the overall average price? Well, just think about it. How many items do you have here? You don't just have 2. You have 10 items, the first 4 and the next 6. So you have a total of 10 items here. So that's your denominator. That's your number of numbers. Okay. Remember, if you know what the average is and you know how many items you have, you can figure out their sum just by multiplying those two numbers, and that's what you do here. The first 4 items, their total was 160, right? Because there was 4 of them, and they averaged $40 each, so that equals 160. And then the other 6, they averaged $80, so you just do 6 times 80. Okay, so now you have 160 plus 480 in the numerator, and that equals 640. And so you divide that by 10, the number of numbers, and so your overall average, or what they call that, that's going to be $64. Okay, it's not 80, it's not 40, it's somewhere in between, $64. Let's do problem number 1 in that lesson as well. Let's just read through it first. The first shift lasted 4 hours and produced 800 units per hour. The second shift was a 6-hour shift that produced 600 units per hour. The third shift was a 4-hour shift that produced 400 units per hour. What was the average number of units per hour for the entire period? So this is like an overall average problem, except we have units here. Units per hour is what they're calling this. So first, hours is going to be the denominator of our average. So how many hours total were all the shifts combined? You have a 4-hour one, a 6-hour, and another 4-hour, so that would be 14 hours total. Okay, and so to figure out the number of units, just the number of units for the first shift, it was a 4-hour shift, and there were 800 units per hour. Okay, so that was the average, was 800 units per hour. Okay, think about that. 4 hours times 800 units per hour. The hours cancel, right? And so you're left with units as your units. So you have 4 times 800. The second shift was 6 hours and 600 units per hour, so you say plus 6 times 600. And then the last one was a 4-hour shift, and they produced 400 units per hour, so 4 times 400. So let's calculate the numerator here first. 4 times 800 would be 3200, plus 6 times 600 would be 3600, plus another 4 times 400 would be 1600. And so that equals 3200 plus 3600 is 6800 plus 1600. That's equal to 8400. 8400 units divided by 14 hours total. 84 divided by 14 is 6. So you would have 600 units per hour. And that's your answer. I think I'll do one more of these. If you look on page 127 and you look at problem number 4 on page 127, I'm going to do that one. And this is lesson 44. So I'll put 44.4 to say I'm doing lesson 44, problem number 4. The average number of pills in each of the 10 small containers was 1,100. The average number of pills in each of the 20 big containers was 1,400. What was the average number of pills in all the containers? Okay, well, we know that there were 30 containers altogether. So that's our number of numbers. 10 small, 20 big, so that's 30 overall. And the average number of pills in the small ones was 1,100. So we say to get the total number of pills for that one, that would be 10 times 1,100. And then for the large containers, the 20 large containers, we have 20 times 1,400. Okay, so we figure out the total number of pills for both sets of containers. That'll be 11,000 plus 28,000. Okay, so that equals 39,000. And we divide that by 30. 39 over 3 is 13. So 39,000 over 30, that would equal 1,300. So that's our answer. And that's all for lesson 42.